Ladies and gentlemen, I have always opined on this platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. The IEBC today held consultative meeting with all the presidential candidates in this country. Raila Odinga attended the meeting accompanied by Karua and some other 4 members of his team. The Deputy President, William Ruto, attended the meeting, though late. He arrived at some few minutes past midday. And I asked myself one question. Why would the Deputy President arrive late for this particular meeting? There was also the Roots Party presidential candidate, Professor Wajakoya, was present. The Agano Party presidential candidate, David Mwaure Wahiga, was also present. And I noted something. The moment the Deputy President arrived, when his vehicle was spotted, Raila Odinga and Karua excused themselves from the meeting. And the moment William Ruto sat on his seat, Wajakoya also left. And because in politics nothing happens out of mere coincidence, probably we need to figure out why William Ruto decided to come late for this particular meeting. Or why Raila Odinga and Karua decided to leave the moment William Ruto made his entry into the venue. But that's something we will probably look at later on. For now, I want us to look at the issues which Raila Odinga raised with IEBC. Because I've been following Raila Odinga, his moves with IEBC, and I am coming to the conclusion that Raila Odinga is so sure of winning the presidency, but he has one fear, that someone might actually go to the courts and nullify his win. So Raila Odinga has been trying so hard to ensure that IEBC conducts its activities within the confines of the law. So I want us to look at the issues which Raila Odinga raised and probably why he is raising some of those issues. But before we get into all those details, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button, the subscribe in right there, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. What we do on this channel is that we analyze politics in a way you can't find any other place. So the best thing you can do is just to click that subscribe button if you're watching the channel for the first time. I know there are also several other people who normally watch the channel but are not yet subscribed, because you get the notification. So just click that subscribe now, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. It's my hope and prayer this video is going to find you guys in good health. And I want to make a request to you. Please give it thumbs up. Now, let us get back to the main issue. This particular meeting, let me just read for you part of the letter which IEBC wrote to them. The commission invites you to a presidential candidate consultative meeting scheduled to be held on Wednesday, June 2022 at Windsor Hotel, Golf Hotel, and County Club from 9 a.m. This meeting was supposed to begin at 9 a.m. And that's why I asked myself, why would William Ruto come at midday? So according to this letter, if you read it further, the presidential candidates were actually supposed to be accompanied by 5 members of their team. So Raila Odinga was represented in this team by Professor Makwiny, Paul Mwangi, Caroline Karugu, Saitaboa Ole Kanchore, I think that's his chief agent, and George Joroge. Very interesting names. Actually, all these names are new names in Raila Odinga's team, apart from Paul Mwangi. William Ruto was accompanied to this meeting. Initially, only 2 people accompanied him. That was Veronica Maina, the Secretary General, and Josephat Nanok. The Deputy President then arrived with, later on, with Senator for Tharaka Nithi. Now, what are some of the issues which Raila Odinga is actually raising? I've been following the happenings in IEBC, because IEBC is the only mandated body to conduct elections. And the question which most Kenyans are asking is whether IEBC, as currently constituted, can conduct a free, fair, and credible elections. And if they cannot conduct elections, free, fair, and credible, who are they working for? Are they going to give in to the deep state? Or are they going to be captured by the deep state? Or are they going to try this time around to clean their names by conducting free and fair elections? Because there's always this talk and theory that IEBC is currently working for Ruto. But Raila Odinga is so sure of winning this presidency based on my own observation. And he's been trying to raise certain issues, and those issues which Raila is raising is actually raising them with the mind that should he win the election, that election results should be acceptable, and therefore nobody can go to court and get the elections nullified. Raila Odinga successfully petitioned the last presidential election, and it was nullified. So Raila Odinga, in my view, is trying to cover every steps of IEBC. So I want us to look at some of the issues which Raila Odinga is raising and why he is raising some of those issues. The first issue Raila Odinga is raising, because if you've been following Raila Odinga, he started raising this issue before. Then when he submitted his nomination papers before IEBC, he raised the same issues. Before this meeting, his legal advisor, Paul Mwangi, had actually raised the same issues. Some others where he was seeking for answers from IEBC. Again, today, they raised several issues. Before we proceed, I want you just to listen to Martha Karua very briefly before we proceed so that you can understand what I'm talking about.
Smartphones, and I'm certain that in every room there will be at least 1 or 2 people with a smartphone. We must take WhatsApp images. The story of the Faranga via computer will die at that stage, and that will enhance the transparency of the elections, which is ordered or commanded by Article 86 of the Constitution. On the door. Oh, sorry, only one point I'm being reminded by my principal, that the order of counting in every polling station, it should be clear that they start with the presidential ballot. They don't always do so. I've been at polling stations where it is not done that way. So let the commission be clear. And finally, people commit deliberate electoral offenses. That is employees of the commission, and they hide behind the word commission. We want to request you to unequivocally and publicly tell your officers that anybody who violates the electoral code deliberately, we will face the law individually.
Now, these are some of the issues which Raila Odinga is trying to raise. The first issue is raising is electronic identification of voters and transmission of the results. How will voters be identified? How? Are we going to have the manual register? Because IEBC has said they're not going to have the manual register. So how are we going to identify the voters? Then once the voters are identified, because when you go to a polling station, you identify voters. When voters are identified, that's okay. Then the next step is now to transmit those results. So the results will be electronically. You submit, you are identified electronically, your name and the rest will come. You are given the ballot papers to cast the vote. Once you do that, They will be counted manually, then the results transmitted electronically. That's where the problem is. So Raila Odinga is raising, how will these results be transmitted? Will they be credible? Those are the issues. And if you listen to Martha Karua very closely, it's like they are so sure that they just want to ensure that the elections is free and fair. The second thing they are asking is the audit of the voter register. According to IEBC, they conducted some audits through a firm, KPMG. That audit unearthed over 1 million voters which were transferred. Whether they can account for those votes or not known. So Raila Odinga and Martha Karua are demanding that give us the audit. We want to look at it. And I've gone through Dennis Itumbi's post that is saying that, okay, for them, he's actually applauding the IBC for doing away with the manual register. You know, you go to a polling station, your biometric details are not in the form, but you registered there. So what's used to happen is that the IBC will get a book and they'll go through the book and get your name. Then you will be allowed to vote. That is what was being misused to help dead voters to vote. So there's this issue of 1 million votes. I think that's what Raila Odinga is keen on. So that when someone will be defeated and they go to court, then they cannot raise the issue of the register, because by that time Raila Odinga should have asked the question, they should have availed the correct register, and that register probably verified. Number three, the third thing is talking about is the recruitment of returning officer. And this is the big deal. Someone yesterday inboxed me and he was like, okay, this is what's happening, my friend. The recruitment of returning officers. The truth of the matter is that the choice and the recruitment of returning officers is also key. Everybody, there was a time a list was circulating online. In that list, there were 19 Kalenjins. So how are these returning officers going to be recruited? Any transparency? Probably they already know that this person, their ethnicity, something like that. Number four, the fourth issue is the printing of ballot papers. You see, in the last election, if you remember, when Kobe disappeared, she went to supervise the printing of ballot papers. Is that firm credible? Is that firm related to any single? Is that firm related to any faction or any party participating in that election? So the printing of ballot papers is going to be an issue. The security features. So Raila Odinga is making sure that IBC will provide the right answers as far as the printing of ballot papers are concerned. The fifth issue is the data migration. You see, we were told that over 1 million people changed their voting and are missing. So if someone registered in Kisumu Central, sports ground, for example, where we'll vote, then this particular person changed now to go and vote in Nyakach. Were everything captured? Because that used to be an issue previously, because you'd go to a polling station, you transferred your vote to a place, then your biometric are not captured well. Then when you try to check with the manual register, you'd find your name. So basically, they are making sure that any data migration, like for example, the transmission, once a form is scanned, and that's why Martha Karua was talking about having WhatsApp images. Once a form is scanned, an image is taken, and that image is submitted to the voter transmission system, KEMSKIT. Once it's transmitted, How is it going to be safe? Is it going to be safe there? How many people are going to handle it? So that you don't just go to court and seek orders. So Raila Odinga is asking that question. Then Raila Odinga is also asking the question about technology, issues about technology. Is the technology, what will happen in case the system will fail? Because you are saying we are not going to use manual register. So you go to a place, there is no power, people cannot be identified. What will happen? I was reading through that Dennis Itumbi's post, and where he was talking of manual register, he was uploading IEBC, and someone was reminding him, actually a fellow Tanga guy, was reminding him that what will happen if these gadgets will not work, especially in Rift Valley. Yeah. Then he's also talking of stakeholders engagement. How are they being engaged? Because someone might say, okay, as you are never involved, you are never told. And lastly, he's also been talking of election timelines from IEBC. So Raila Odinga has been raising some of those issues. But why is Raila Odinga keen on this electoral process? In my view, Raila Odinga is keen because of the following reasons. Number one, Raila Odinga is trying to prevent nullification of his victory. So that should he win the presidency, nobody can go to court. Because he had successfully petitioned the previous election results, he knows so well the avenues they used to nullify that election results. So for him, he's just trying to cover some of those weaknesses which they used in the last election to have the Supreme Court nullify the elections. The Supreme Court never nullified the elections because of numbers. They ruled that election is actually a process. So Raila Odinga wants to make sure that the process is clear and that everything is actually captured. That's number one. Number two, I also tend to think that Raila Odinga just wants to have a free, fair, and credible election in this country. The truth of the matter is that majority of Raila Odinga supporters believes very strongly, and they always disagree with me whenever I say that if Sakaja is going to be cleared, then Raila Odinga is going to lose. They believe that Raila Odinga's victory is not pegged on the deep state. It's pegged on the people. So Raila Odinga probably just want to have free, fair, and credible elections because he knows so well, based on his previous figures, that he has the numbers, that some of the numbers which were previously attributed or awarded to Uhuru are not real numbers. So he's hoping that the elections will just be free and fair, so that when he completes the process, when the process is complete, if he loses, he will be gracious. If he's defeated, he will be gracious. And if he defeats any other person, they'll say, okay, sisi tumekubali, tumeshindwa. And lastly, I also tend to think that what Raila Odinga is keen on is to have the election results acceptable to all, so that after the elections is declared the winner, then the other parties will easily accept the result. Thank you guys, and please, should you have any question, let me know. And I want to ask you a question. Why do you think William Ruto decided to arrive late for this particular meeting? Why? Why do you think he arrived late? Or why do you think Raila Odinga walked out? Maybe there's something. So let me read your comments below. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye.